Right now, there is a major difference between how most people save and how the top 1% build their future. Many people are told that a basic account is the best choice for their $1,000. However, while those accounts stay at a fixed rate, the global market is achieving a level of growth that most people never see. This is a specific strategy designed for those who have the right information. Today, the curtain is rising on a new way to manage your capital. I am sharing the masterclass that explains the exact methods used to achieve professional results and keep more of your own progress. If you want to move beyond the traditional limits and join a community of educated investors, you should hit the subscribe button right now. Do not let outdated methods slow your momentum. The journey to a better strategy starts today. Let us begin the masterclass. If you have $1,000 sitting in a traditional savings account right now, you aren't just standing still, you are actually losing wealth every single hour. The big banks have spent billions of dollars on psychological marketing to make you believe that a 4% interest rate is a massive win for your future. But here is the secret they never want you to calculate. When you factor in the rising cost of living, the hidden bank maintenance fees, and the inevitable government taxes, your real return is actually negative. While you feel safe watching that number sit in your app, the purchasing power of your hard-earned cash is melting away like ice in the sun. This is the yield illusion. They want you to focus on the small gain while you ignore the massive hole in your financial bucket. Stop playing their game. Why does the bank want your $1,000 so badly if they are only going to pay you pennies in return? The answer is the liquidity lie. Under modern banking rules, your $1,000 deposit allows the bank to leverage that money and lend out 10 times that amount to other people at much higher interest rates. They are using your capital as the foundation for their own massive wealth-building machine. They take the risk with your money, keep 99% of the profit for their shareholders, and hand you a tiny fraction just to keep you quiet. You are essentially giving the bank a nearly interest-free loan so they can get richer while you stay stuck. Understanding that you are the fuel for their fire is the first step to taking your power back and investing like the 1% do. The greatest weapon the financial industry uses against you is fear. They call their low-growth products safe because they know that beginners are terrified of market volatility. They want you to believe that the stock market is a dangerous casino while their savings accounts are a secure fortress. This is what I call the safety tax. By choosing the safe path, you are paying a massive price in lost opportunity. Over a 10-year period, the difference between safe banking and smart investing isn't just a few dollars. It is the difference between having a small emergency fund and having a life-changing portfolio. Volatility is not the enemy. It is simply the price you pay for admission to true wealth. The real danger isn't a market crash. It is reaching retirement age and realizing your safe money never grew enough to support you. The financial industry has created a wall of complex language specifically designed to make you feel uneducated and dependent on their services. They use intimidating terms like fiduciary duty, expense ratios, and tax loss harvesting to make simple concepts seem like rocket science. This is not an accident. It is a calculated strategy. When you feel confused, you stop asking questions and start handing over control. They want you to believe that you aren't smart enough to manage your own $1,000 so that they can charge you hidden management fees for doing something you could have done yourself in 5 minutes. Today, we are tearing down that wall. We are translating their high-level jargon into plain English so you can see the truth. Once you realize that investing is just a series of simple logic gates, the experts lose their power over your wallet forever. For decades, the most powerful wealth-building tools were hidden behind a velvet rope called the minimum balance requirement. Banks and hedge funds would tell the average person that they needed at least $25,000 or $50,000 just to get in the door. This created a myth that real investing is only for the elite, while the rest of us are forced to settle for basic retail products with lower returns and higher fees. They wanted to keep the high-growth shadow portfolios for themselves while keeping the public trapped in the slow lane. But in 2026, the digital revolution has shattered that barrier. You can now access the exact same institutional grade assets with just your first $1,000. The gatekeepers are terrified because they can no longer monopolize the best opportunities. You now have the keys to the vault. You just need to know which door to open. Most people believe their neighborhood financial advisor is a helpful guide looking out for their best interests. However, the dark reality of the industry is the commission conflict. Many advisors are actually just glorified salespeople for the big banks. They are often paid massive bonuses to steer your money into specific mutual funds or insurance products that benefit the institution's bottom line, not yours. They aren't looking for the fund with the best performance. They are looking for the fund with the highest kickback. This means your $1,000 is often being used to pay someone else's commission instead of compounding for your future. This is why free advice is often the most expensive mistake you can ever make. True financial freedom starts when you stop trusting the people who profit from your ignorance and start following a system built on transparency and logic. To find the truth, you must stop listening to the news and start watching where the actual capital is moving. While the headlines are busy scaring the public into selling their assets during a market dip, the institutional smart money is quietly doing the exact opposite. They use a strategy of accumulation that the average person never sees because it happens behind closed doors in dark pools and private exchanges. These billionaires aren't gambling. They are following a cold, calculated data trail that favors long-term ownership over short-term panic. They understand that the best time to grow $1,000 is precisely when everyone else is too afraid to act. By tracking these institutional movements, we can see that the, quote, scary market volatility is actually just a massive discount for those who know how to read the signals. This is how the wealthy stay wealthy. Most investors completely ignore a 2% management fee because it sounds like a small price to pay for professional help. However, when you look at the math over 20 years, that tiny fee becomes a catastrophic leak in your financial ship. This is known as the fee decay curve. Because of the way compound interest works, a 2% fee doesn't just take 2% of your money, it takes 2% of your growth every single year. By the time you reach retirement, that one small fee could have quietly erased nearly 40% of your total potential wealth. The banks bank on the fact that you won't do the long-term math. They want you to stay focused on the present while they slowly siphon off your future. Cutting out the middleman is the fastest way to double your wealth without earning an extra cent. The ultimate secret revealed in the leaked portfolios of the 1% is a concept called asymmetric risk. The average person is taught to believe that to make high returns, you must take high risks. But the elite play a different game entirely. They look for opportunities where the downside is strictly limited, but the upside is potentially infinite. They don't bet the farm on a single hot stock. They build a diversified base of low-cost assets that provide a safety net while using a small portion of their capital to capture massive, explosive growth in emerging sectors. This mathematical approach ensures that even if they are wrong half the time, their winners are so large that they still come out ahead. Your $1,000 needs to be managed like a hedge fund, not a lottery ticket. This is the blueprint for real, sustainable power. The first step in our shadow strategy is to allocate $700 into what the elite call a total market base. Instead of picking individual stocks and hoping for a miracle, you are going to buy a zero-fee or ultra-low-cost index fund that tracks the top 500 companies in the world. This move effectively fires your financial advisor and removes the bank's hand from your pocket. You are no longer betting on one company, you are betting on the entire global economy. This core foundation ensures that as long as the world continues to innovate and grow, your money grows with it. By capturing the market's total return without paying the gatekeeper tax, you are already outperforming 90% of professional money managers. This is the bedrock of your wealth, providing the stability and long-term compounding power required to turn a small seed into a massive forest. Now that your foundation is secure, we take $200 and move it into the satellite growth category. This is your sniper shot. While the big banks are restricted by slow committees and old-fashioned regulations, you have the agility to invest in disruptive sectors like artificial intelligence, green energy, or next-generation biotechnology. We are looking for specialized exchange-traded funds that focus on the industries of the future. This $200 portion of your portfolio is designed for explosive, high-velocity growth. It represents your stake in the next technological revolution. Even if these sectors experience short-term volatility, the long-term upside is where life-changing wealth is actually created. By separating your safe money from your growth money, you are mimicking the exact structure of a billion-dollar family office. You are playing the game with precision and purpose, capturing gains that the traditional banks simply cannot reach. The final $100 of your blueprint is the most misunderstood part of the entire system, the liquidity buffer. Most people make the mistake of investing every single cent they have, which leaves them vulnerable when life happens or when a sudden market opportunity arises. We are placing this final 10% into a specialized high-yield cash account that sits outside the traditional big bank ecosystem. This is your dry powder. It serves two purposes. First, it acts as a psychological safety net so you never feel forced to sell your long-term investments during a temporary market dip. Second, it keeps you ready to strike when the market leaks a massive discount. Having cash ready to deploy while everyone else is panicking is the ultimate competitive advantage. This is how you stop being a victim of the market and start becoming a predator of opportunity. Most beginners focus entirely on how much money they can make, but they completely ignore how much money they actually get to keep. This is the trap the government and the banks are counting on. Every time you buy and sell a stock for a quick profit within a standard brokerage account, you trigger what is known as a short-term capital gains tax. In many regions, this can snatch away up to 40% of your hard-earned profit before you ever get a chance to reinvest it. This invisible leak kills the power of compound interest and slows your momentum to a crawl. You are essentially working for the tax man instead of working for your own future freedom. To win this game, you must stop being a frequent trader and start becoming a strategic owner. Protecting your gains is just as important as generating them in the first place. The most powerful counterattack in your arsenal is the use of a tax-advantaged vault, such as a Roth IRA or an equivalent tax-free investment account. When you move your $1,000 into this specific type of structure, you are effectively moving your money into the shadows where the government cannot reach it. Inside this shield, your investments can grow, compound, and double for decades, and when you finally decide to withdraw the wealth, you pay exactly $0 in taxes. This is the legal backdoor that the wealthy use to protect their generational fortunes. By setting up your $1,000 blueprint inside a tax-free wrapper, you are ensuring that every single cent of growth belongs to you and your family, not the state. This one move alone can save you hundreds of thousands of dollars over the course of your long-term investing journey. Finally, we must expose the dividend trap that catches so many unsuspecting investors. Many people are told to buy high-dividend stocks because they love the idea of receiving a check every month. However, if those dividends are paid into a standard account, they are taxed immediately, regardless of whether you spent the money or reinvested it. This creates a constant drag on your portfolio's performance. The elite understand that total growth is the real objective. They prefer to let their wealth compound quietly without triggering yearly tax bills that drain their liquidity. Your goal is to keep your money working at maximum efficiency for as long as possible. By avoiding the siren song of taxable dividends and focusing on total capital appreciation, you are securing your victory. You have the blueprint, you have the shield, and now you have the power to win. You now have the exact blueprint to turn $1,000 into a powerhouse portfolio that the banks can never touch. You have the core foundation, the satellite growth, and the tax shield to defend your future. But there is one final piece of the puzzle that we haven't discussed yet. Even the most perfect strategy will fail if you don't know how to handle the massive market shift that experts are predicting for the end of 2026. If you don't recognize the specific warning signs of a liquidity crunch, your gains could vanish overnight. I have compiled a separate investigation into the 3 most dangerous mistakes that are currently wiping out small investors. You need to watch this next video right now to ensure your $1,000 seed doesn't just grow, but survives the coming storm. Click here to see the warning.